Can you, any injuries coming out of last night?
Yeah, the don't have any more for obviously the guys that we're kind of waiting on that I didn't necessarily mention after the game. Jordan Whittington and Sean Dolak left the game. They didn't return. We're getting some stuff on them. They'll get MRIs, and then I'll have some more information. But just because I appreciate you guys doing this early so we could get going, but do not have any sort of updates. And then when we reconnect, I guess that'll be, what will that be, Artist, on Tuesday?
Tomorrow, yep.
Yeah. Jeez almighty. It's going to be a quick week, Gary. But don't have any updates. We'll see what it comes back on those guys. But other than those two, feel optimistic about everybody that played in the game. And then the anticipation is getting Quentin Lake back, getting Davante Adams back, and then we'll see what it looks like for Kevin Dotson as well.
What happened with Terrance Ferguson, and will he be available?
I'm hopeful. Yes. He got his hamstring. He had obviously kind of a short turnaround with the Monday night game. He accumulated a bunch of, just kind of volume and felt a little bit, he didn't actually get it, but he kind of felt it. And, he's obviously a special player for us, and the way that we use him, felt it on Friday. Came in Saturday, and there wasn't optimism in terms of there was a possibility we could set him back, especially just knowing what we had ahead this week. And so erred on the side of caution with him. It worked out because getting Higbee back didn't leave us so short-sighted, short-handed at that position. And obviously, Higgs played a lot more snaps than we had kind of planned, but he's a total stud and did an excellent job. And we needed everything that he brought yesterday. But I do think we'll get Terrance back, Gary.
Any thought of bringing Rob Havenstein back from IR, or is that going to be just kind of a week-to-week thing?
It's kind of a week-to-week thing. He's been a total stud about it. And, the way that he's led in his own way and influenced and affected this team, you just can't say enough about him in terms of the captain, the man, the glue guy that he is. But we're taking it a week at a time, and I don't think anybody really can understand it, everything he's pushed through and what he's put his body through throughout the course of his career, and just what a total stud he is. But we'll take it a week at a time with him. And in the meantime, Warren McClendon has done a really nice job filling in for him.
Forgive me if I got the rules and timeline not correct here, but my sense is that other teams can start requesting coach interviews. And yep. I'm wondering if anyone has requested Chris Shula and or anyone else on your staff.
Yeah, so I think they change him up all the time. I think he'll be able to start doing those. The teams that I think are available are teams not in the playoffs, and then the teams that have the buys. People on that staff could be available for interviews this week. So I'm so sure Shula will start up after the weekend. I'm too stupid to focus on too much at once, but haven't gotten any requests, but I'm sure they'll come in for him, and he'll be able to take part in Zoom interviews after the wild card game this week. Is that correct, Artis?
Yes.
Perfect.
Absolutely. Yep.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Adam.
Morning, Sean.
Morning, Adam.
When you say you expect Terrance back, is that for this week or
yes.
moving forward? Okay.
That's for this week. Yep. Do expect him back. We might modify his approach early on in the week, but we're fully expecting him to play, even just sitting down with Reggie, a couple minutes ago in regards to just, before the guys had come in, but knowing where he's at. That's the plan.
And with Quentin coming back this week, I know stats are for losers, but the advanced metrics really do change when he's on the field, when he's on and off the field, when it comes to run defense.
Yeah.
How does he impact that area of the game?
Yeah, he impacts everything, Adam, and I think it's because of the versatility that he can play relative to just different, positions, allow us to get into different defensive structures, but his ability to be able to cover, play the run, have perimeter control, with some of the RPOs and things that people are doing in the quick element screen game. I mean, he's outstanding, and his production was big time. But I also think no different than what you saw from Higbee yesterday, just that energy and that swag and that presence, that gives life to others around him too. And so those things do matter. How do you affect and influence positive change for the unit? And those are the types of stats that I do lean into that I think matter. And I think it's a great reflection of his impact on the collective, not exclusively just what he's doing.
Yesterday, the fake punt had a big role in Arizona's run there in the third quarter. Just what has your evaluation been of special teams the last 2 weeks after the change?
Yeah, I've been pleased. They caught us in that was a good job by them. It was a situation where they ended up getting a bunch back on a long situation on a 3rd and long. They cut the field. And then even still there, it was a good call by them in that scenario. You're trying to set up a return. Guys are backs are to you and kind of in a hold up mode. And they ended up doing a nice job of hitting the guy right down the pipe. That's something that Rodgers has done in his past, but that was a one play deal. And you say tip of the cap to them. They did a nice job executing. But outside of that, I think we've covered really well in kickoff coverage. Haven't had to punt, but when we have, I thought Ethan hit the ball really well on both of the punts. And I thought our coverage integrity was good. And then Mevis has continued to be steady. So obviously the blocked field goal the previous week, I think they've been really good. That play stands out. But what I love, Adam, was that after they make that play, then they hit the big play to Wilson. We go down 4. I kept saying down 3. It shows you how freaking out of it I was yesterday. But we go down 4 points. You guys never corrected me either. What the hell? But don't let the truth get in the way of a good story, right? But when we go down 4, what I was proud of was the collective effort from all 3 phases. And so I've been pleased. I wasn't pleased with that particular play, and that was a big turning point. But I think you want to be careful to just say it's an all or nothing thing. And I think the body of work over 2 weeks has been a real positive.
And it's been 3 years now since you guys underwent the remodel, as Les put it, and 3 playoff appearances. But how would you say that the young core that kind of led you to 2023 has kind of grown since that time?
I think they've gotten a bunch of experience. I think experience accelerates. I think when you are able to gain experience or go through a lot or have a bunch of snaps, you always talk about, that becomes the repetition of learning. And I think we've gotten a lot of conscientious guys that have played in a lot of meaningful games, and they've had a lot of different experiences, a lot of different atmospheres and environments for those guys from Puka and Kobe Turner and Byron Young's class. You're looking at guys that now they're getting ready to play in their 4th playoff game. And there is a difference. The stakes are higher. You don't run away from that. You don't need to make shit up, but I think it's big. And, you even look at just some of the guys that have stepped up even before that. Warren McClendon's been outstanding. I've just been really pleased with the collective young group. And then I think you've got guys that are a little bit more experienced, in Matthew. We talked about Rob Havenstein, Higbee. Those guys have been so steady, but then there's still his youth, but he seems like they've been around for a while with the guys like the Quentin Lakes and the Kyron Williams. And so I'm really excited, and they've done an excellent job of really establishing a foundation. And I think we've gotten better. That's the most important thing, is there's been a consistent improvement. And now I'm looking forward to seeing that come to life, this week. And then when we get a chance to kick off at 4:30 on Saturday.
Thanks, Sean.
You got it, man.
Stu.
Sean, yesterday you and Les became the 15th head coach and general manager duo to reach 100 wins as a tandem, as Kobe mentioned yesterday at the end of the victory speech. Just wondering what that measure of success means to you. Not only just for that partnership, but for the organization as a whole, especially as the team's needs and identities have changed over the years. Yeah,
I mean, I think a lot of gratitude, a lot of reflection of the appreciation for finishing up the 9th regular season here. You don't take that for granted, and I think there's perspective, especially this time of year when you see some of the changes and you realize how fortunate you are to be around people. Be able to work for an owner, Mr. Kroenke, the support that I've felt from him from the jump. And then I can't say enough about how special the relationship between Les and I. And then obviously, Kevin and Tony are a huge part of that, but really just this organization as a whole. And I think the coolest part about, as it relates to just Les and I, our relationship has gotten stronger over the years. There's a real connection. I think there's an appreciation and a love and respect for each other as human beings first and foremost, but then an understanding and a trust to allow each other to do their jobs. We've always seen the game through the same lens. I think we both are incredibly competitive. I think we can, go back and forth, but then also I think the people that you can have the comfort in some of the conflict is so important. You think about people you love the most, there can be comfort in the conflict. And Les and I were actually talking about that the other day. And so grateful. It's always a reflection of being surrounded by special people. That's players, that's support staff, that's coaching staff, that's people on Les's staff with personnel. And, I love Les, does an excellent job, and I'm really fortunate to be partnered up with him. And I think our relationship and our, collaboration has only gotten stronger as we've accumulated experience. And that's rare in this business, and it's not something that I take for granted.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You got it.
Sarah.
Morning, Sean.
Morning.
You've talked a lot about how guys like Matthew and specifically Davante know their body, and you can trust that they are telling you how they feel.
Yeah.
How Davante obviously has been out with the hamstring injury, but he injured it earlier in the season. How have you guys managed it with him this season?
Yeah, I mean, it's really just he's done a great job of he does so much work behind the scenes. I think that's one of the things that these true pros that are able to establish and maintain a level of greatness throughout their career. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes. Everybody just sees the highlights and the things they do on Sundays, but there's body work, there's mental and physical, just conditioning and just the overall mindset and mentality. And so he's done a great job with that, obviously working in collaboration with Reggie and his group when he's here. And then I think over the last couple of weeks, he's chomping at the bit. He looks like he's ready to go. We've erred on the side of caution with him. I know it's pissed him off pretty good because of the competitor that he is, but he's got that look in his eye that I know he's ready to go. And man, you just feel better when you see number 17 out there on our offense. And it poses a lot of different challenges for people to have to defend when you put that freaking stud back out on the grass for us.
Have those been hard conversations to have when he wants to be out there and you're telling him, no, we want to be cautious?
He's been awesome, Sarah. I mean, hard, but I think he's so damn smart and he understands and he knows how much I love him. And he knows that our intentions are what's best for, the holistic approach. And so he's been nothing but a pro, nothing but a man's man about it. But I think as a competitor, I'd want him to be like, I wanted him to be that way. If I look at it, I always feel like I can make the best decisions or have the best understanding when you say, remove yourself from it. Put yourself in those person's shoes, try to be empathetic to that. And he's handled it exactly how I would want my son, or if I was in that situation, to handle it. And can't say enough about it, but he's been great. But as a competitor, I mean, that's what makes these guys special.
Despite missing the time he still finished the regular season leading the NFL in receiving touchdowns. How would you evaluate or how would you describe the season he's had for you in his first year here?
I think it's been incredible, and I think it only got better, as he and Matthew established a comfort and a rapport. Obviously, the production in the red zone and really just the ability to get into the end zone speaks for itself, but he makes a bunch of different plays. He elicits attention because of the respect that he has. And, there's a lot of things that maybe you've seen. I think he drew a bunch of PIs and penalties throughout the year that kept the ball moving, but they don't show up on the stats. And so total stud, was a really, integral part of a good offense in the regular season. And now let's see it come to life even more when we get going in this 14-team tournament that damn excited about competing in starting Saturday.
Thank you.
Dennis did great.
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Dennis?
I'm doing great. When it comes to Matthew, does his leadership qualities go beyond the stat sheet?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, it's his presence. It's his steadiness. It's his calm in the midst of chaos. It's the confidence that he provides for everybody. There's no way that you could measure the importance and the influence of the impact that he makes. The stats tell one story, but also there's just something to be said for the power of belief. And when you have a guy at quarterback that you have such belief in, and he has such a great emotional intelligence and great natural leadership traits of the timing and tone of when to say things or when to be able to get people up. I just think the thing that you could say the most is, when you have some challenging moments and adversity is inevitable, whether it be within games or going through a stretch, when you can look to one of your leaders and say, I believe in this guy and this is somebody that I want to follow, that gives me confidence and inspires me to want to do right because I think we're headed in the right direction. Man, does that say a lot? I don't know that you can put any measure on that, but he provides that for our football team, Dennis, and that's why he's the MVP of the league.
As you guys recorded 6 sacks yesterday, how are you feeling about your pass rush going into the postseason?
I feel good. I thought yesterday was a really good day. I think there's an energy that elicits. I thought that was great for just the overall vibe of the team. They came in timely situations. So I thought that was really good. And you got to be able to earn the right to get into some of those different situations. But I thought that was a real positive step to be able to get that kind of production against those guys yesterday.
Thank you, Coach.
You got it, man.
Morning, Sean.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
You finished number one in the NFL in yards, number one in the NFL in points. I know stats are for losers. We all know that. But given that, I mean, you made significant improvements on last year too. You scored like 10 points more a game, 60 yards more a game. Does it feel like that? Does it feel like you made that kind of progress in terms of team, in terms of year over year success? Does that reflect anything to you in terms of how you've developed this offense?
Well, I think it's a real credit to the players. The one stat I do think matters is points. Yards I think can be really misleading, but there's a couple stats that I think do matter. And because the only way that you can win is you score more points than other teams, unless something changes until then, that stat will be important. And that can sometimes be a team stat. You score defensively, you get short fields. Would have loved to have had the first possession end in a touchdown, not a field goal. But I was proud of the group. The yardage thing, I think, can be a little bit misleading, but overall, I thought the offense was, orchestrated and led by Matthew. And then I think, Mike and the offensive coaching staff and the players did a great job, Greg. So a lot of positive steps. I think there was some new wrinkles that obviously we've talked a little bit about, but I think the most important thing is using the totality of the roster. I think everybody's felt involved. I think we've had an identity to be able to run it or throw it. There's always areas that you can improve, but it'll always go back to, the players did an excellent job. And I thought really, Mike and our offensive coaching staff have done a great job of orchestrating weekly game plans that take advantage of our players' strengths while considering the opponent and, who we're going against both tactically and personnel wise.
And obviously a short week is tougher in terms of recovery, but are there any positives to playing a quick game in the first round of the playoffs, particularly against a team you've already played before and you already know a little bit more about than somebody you hadn't played before?
There is. I like it, and it's not accelerated like a Thursday, but it's similar to what we did last week. And I think, you get in, we'll be smart about the recovery process, but I do like that. I'd rather that than playing, where we've had some seasons where we're playing, like last year and even in the 21 season where we're playing that Monday night game that usually is the 4-5 game. It just happens to be the AFC 4-5 game this week. So I was glad that I would much rather be playing on Saturday for the reasons that you're saying, and don't have too much time to overthink stuff. Let's put together a great plan for our players. Let's have a good week of prep. Let's fly out to Carolina and let's go to work.
Thanks, Sean.
You got it, man.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Hey, Tyler, thanks for doing this.
Yeah. Good morning.
First of all, just how did it feel to be back on the field yesterday?
Yeah, it felt great. Always want to be out there and playing ball with the boys. And yesterday I got the opportunity to do that, so it was fun. Try to make the most of it. It's always a blessing. So yeah, it was exciting. It was fun.
And Sean said that you weren't necessarily expected to play that many snaps, but then Terrance, ended up on the injury report. So how did you kind of, prepare yourself to play more than, you maybe expected to going into that game?
Yeah, just trying to do what the team needed from me, and yeah, it kind of came quick with just him getting added to the injury report late, and we with all the 13 stuff we got going on, and wasn't expected to play as much as that, but again, just trying to do what I can. Love competing, love playing this game, and it was fun.
You made a bunch of big plays yesterday. Was there a moment during the game where you felt like, all right, I'm all the way back?
I don't know if there was a moment throughout the game that I felt like that, but I've been rehabbing and I've been training and working, trying to get back and do what I can, and I was just excited. The ball found me some yesterday, and yeah, just glad I could contribute to helping us get a win.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Tyler, thank you for doing this.
Mm-hmm.
You've been a part of a lot of teams that have gone through the playoffs too, that reached the Super Bowl. What has to happen, or what's kind of the formula for success for getting to that game?
Just keep everything internal here with us. You don't listen to the outside noise. You don't you don't look at the what ifs or the what could be's, it's you just come in and work and take a day at a time, rep at a time, game at a time, and just keep continuously trying to get better and um, keep peaking week after week.
Is the move to the multiple tight ends in the office, is that something you ever kind of foresaw coming with Sean, or based on your experience, did you think it was kind of going to be the kind of what it always had been?
Well, I mean, you look at kind of his background, and he's got some experience with tight ends, and he did a really good job using those guys, and Vernon Davis and Jordan Reed, and Niles Paul, those guys over in Washington, and but then coming here, it's been a lot of 11. That was the personnel, the players we had. It made sense to be an 11. And then, I've told you guys this multiple times, but like, this is the deepest tight end room I've ever been a part of. We got the guys to do it, and we've shown that we can do it, and the offense can go while we do it. And that'll just present more opportunities. It's been fun. It's been great. Love seeing the guys ball, and get excited for each other's successes, and yeah, it's been fun.
And in your years in the league, how have you seen the tight end position evolve, if at all? I mean, you've got Terrance Ferguson with you guys and stuff, but ha have you noticed any change in terms of the skill set that's required now to play the position?
Yeah, I think you know the fullback position is kind of I wouldn't say gone away. It's almost
Mhm.
you see some teams this year starting to implement a little bit more of a fullback stuff to it. My opinion, those are kind of third tight ends
Mhm.
or another tight end position. You look at Davis Allen and some of the things that he's been able to do for us that has been so just so much to insurmountable to the success that we've had as an offense and in that 13 personnel stuff is a lot of people would consider what a fullback does.
Mhm.
I think they should make that third. I think they should maybe take that fullback position in the Pro Bowl and make it a third tight end position, just for what the position has become and what we asked
Mhm.
some of the guys to do. Because in my opinion, Davis Allen is a Pro Bowl fullback this year, if you want to put it that way. But it's yeah, I mean it's been great, and it's just the ability to do it all. And the best thing about it too is we got four or five guys in the room that can do a little bit of both. You see some of these tight ends around the league, and they're considered the pass catchers, or they're considered the run blockers, the donkeys. We got four or five guys that can do a little bit of both, making us complete tight ends, which I also think gives us an edge and allows us to do some of the things that we can do.
Thanks very much.
Yep, thank you.
Adam,
Tyler, you mentioned the depth of that tight end room, but one thing that your coaches and teammates have also talked about is just how the complementary skill sets in that room.
Mhm.
How would you describe like the different skill sets of each of you guys?
Yeah, each of us, like I said, I truly do think all of us are complete tight ends that can do a little bit of both in both in the run and pass game. But yeah, and everybody has their own little, their own flavor, their own things that they're great at. Some better than others, and just it works, man. We work at the things that we aren't maybe might lack in, but we work at those, and yeah, just getting everybody out there has been awesome, and it's shown and it's helped this offense roll a little bit this year.
Puka said yesterday that the celebration after your touchdown was a good illustration of how your teammates felt about you. What did that moment mean to you after just missing the last few games?
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. You feel the love and support from these guys, and I try to give them the same. And we got a tight knit unit, a great team that you can feel the love for. And when you're playing, in my opinion, when you're playing for the guys next to you rather than just the name on your back, it makes for the best teams. So special.
Is that something you felt has been like kind of a defining trait of this? I feel like a lot of guys talk about how you guys celebrate
Yeah.
each other's successes this year.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's awesome. It's just it adds to the fun of playing ball. It's a kid's game we grew up playing, and now we're getting paid to do it. And at this level, the more you can get guys that want to play for each other rather than just, their families and the name on their back, makes a tighter team, and in my opinion, makes for a better team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sarah?
Tyler, how would you describe what Matthew is like in the huddle?
He's special, man. He's special. First ballot, in my opinion. MVP, in my opinion. Should be hands down MVP, in my opinion. But he's special. His command, his control. He elevates the play of everyone around him. If there's a guy that might not be fully confident in what he's got, Matthew's going to make sure he's in the right spot, doing the right thing, and all while still taking care of his job. So it's impressive. It's special, and I'm blessed to be a part and have played with him.
What might that look like if someone maybe doesn't know what they're supposed to do on a play? How can he help them out?
I mean, he'll just he'll know if there's some questions or if there's a intricacy in the play, something that might be on the tip sheet, a split that might need to be adjusted depending on what the concept is. He'll kind of remind them before he goes into the entire play call and things like that. Get guys lined up and just make sure they're in the positions. It goes beyond just being able to throw the football a little bit, and it's special.
And then you and Davante both have been dealing with injuries at the same time. Have you guys spent more time together because of that as you guys have been rehabbing?
Yeah, I mean little bit, not nothing too crazy, but yeah, we're excited to have him back. I've seen him been running around a little bit. He looks pretty good, and I think he's starting to kind of feel better, and excited to get him back and go watch him ball, man. He's a special player also.
I'm just curious what you have learned about him since he got to LA.
Just his work ethic. It's you see guys from afar, and you appreciate their game, just what you watch on tape and things like that, and then you get around them, and it all starts to make sense of like, okay, now I can see why this guy is so special. The work that he puts in, the attention to the details, the wanting to be better. It's impressive. He's a Hall of Famer in my opinion, also. So I might be biased on a few of these, but I also think there's a lot of people out there that'll agree with me.
Thank you.
Thank
And then
you.
we'll wrap with Dennis and then Stu.
Hey, Tyler, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good. In what ways has Matthew helped you elevate your game, your performance as tight end?
I mean, he's special. There's not a throw on the field he can't make. Again, he elevates the play of everyone around him. And I'm blessed to be a part of it. It's special. So it's cool. Just to be able to get guys lined up, his command, how there's an ease and a comfort that he has once he gets in the huddle, calling the plays to get everybody doing the right thing. And yeah, it's special, and I'm lucky to be a part of it.
And can you describe the opportunity to be able to play in the postseason again?
Yeah, it's great. It's the goal you have in the beginning of the year every season. Obviously, you want to win the division, but at the same time, it's about getting in the dance and about playing your best ball at the right time. And we got an opportunity to do that, and take it one at a time. It'll be Carolina this week, and um, the real season starts now. Now it's win or go home. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Stu?
Hey Tyler, how does Scooter Huff's offensive line background help you guys, or how has that helped you guys, especially with some of the things that maybe you've been asked to do as a group from a blocking standpoint when you're attached to the formation and some of those 12 and 13 looks?
Yeah, he's been great, man. He's since day one, he's brought some good coaching points, good teaching tapes. Everybody, all the tight ends nowadays, I feel like maybe not all, but most of them are wanting to catch the football. As the positions kind of evolve to a little bit more moving around, standing up, doing different things. But he's helped us tremendously. I mean, and it's shown up in the run game. Look at our run game this year. It's been pretty good. You want to try to take away the pass, we can still run the rock, and he's a big factor in that, and he's helped us in this room get better, and it's shown up.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.